Welcome back, Awakening Beauties. If this is your first time clicking on my channel, I welcome you. My name is Robin, and this is the intersection of fashion, beauty, and spirituality. And this video is actually going to be more focused on the spirituality aspect of the things that I love talking about. And at the end, I'm going to share an original song. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in hearing a message that was given to me a few months ago. And I hope you will listen. I hope you will enjoy it. And it comes from the heart. It's a beautiful day out here, so I just thought I would make this outside. And so the reason I wanted to make this video is something that I was talking about with a friend of mine recently who was going through some hard times, and how we get to choose our reaction to those hard times. In the moment, it often feels like a little overwhelming, and maybe like things are happening to us and that people are hurting us, people are doing things to cause us harm. You know, we don't have control over what people do. That's Zoe, Zoe's joining us. We don't have control over what people do. All we have control over is our reaction to them. And ultimately, in the end, no one is responsible for our own happiness except for ourselves. And when we're going through difficult times, and I've certainly gone through many, I've recently just gone through a little bit of a funk myself. And you know, the thing that I realize now is when I'm going through a funk and every single thing that happens, you know, every single thing that people do kind of bugs us, and we kind of internalize and personalize those things. But what I've learned now is, like, I know to question those thoughts. I know that my thoughts aren't necessarily real. And the other thing that I do is that if I feel like someone has done something to me, you know, that victimhood kind of mentality, I have to remember I'm doing this to me. So I always turn it around. If I have a thought of, oh, she said this to me, I then turn it around in my mind and I say, I said this to me. Because someone may have literally said those words to you that you perceived as harmful, but by repeating it over and over to ourselves and creating a story around it and creating pain around it, we're doing it to ourselves, because that thing that happened just happened one time. And it may have been a thoughtless word. It may have been careless. It may have been a non-compassionate thing that somebody said to us. But oftentimes people don't even realize. I mean, how many times have we said a thoughtless thing to somebody and then later had to apologize for it? Everybody is stuck in their own stories. Everybody is going through their own stuff, and nobody is out there to hurt us intentionally. And maybe there are people that are trying to hurt us. And if you have anybody like that in your life, please get them out, because it's not worth it. So something that kind of sparked a lot of this conversation was actually from a podcast, and I'll link it below. It's from a YouTube channel, Aubrey Marcus, and he has on a rabbi, and they often talk about very deep spiritual conversations. And this week they focused on the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and all the spiritual meanings and messages behind those movies. I haven't seen the third one yet, but now I really want to see the third one. They said so many things that were just really powerful, but one of the things, and I just had to write it down, because they were talking about how that we have a culture of complaint and victimization. And oh boy, that is so true, isn't it? And they talk about how you heal trauma, that you really can't heal trauma by continually reliving that trauma in your mind. And even sometimes going to therapy, although I do believe that therapy is very beneficial. I've certainly been through bouts of therapy myself, but that you can't really heal it by just continually going over and over and over and over again and again and again. There has to be a goal at the end of it. And so one of the things that they talked about is that you can't move out of your own trauma unless you recover the call of the future. They also called it a memory of the future. Well, we typically think of a memory as something that has happened in the past, but just like with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work of, creating a vision of your future, that's the same thing as creating a memory of your future. That future becomes so real to you as if it has already happened. So then it is a memory. So they also talked about, I just need to pause here because I don't want to like skim over this. Sometimes I get talking so fast that I don't really stop and just savor that. But just think about creating a memory of the future and creating and remembering the call of the future. We have to be greater than ourselves in order to overcome our trauma. We have to be working towards something greater than ourselves. And they talked about how in like World War II, I think it was, that there were no that all of the asylums basically let out because all the people that were hospitalized were helping the wounded, they were caring for the sick, they were doing things in the efforts of, we have a common purpose, we have a common goal. I've often thought about what happened to the indigenous peoples when the Spaniards came to South America and how they were forced to convert to Christianity or die. And thinking about that kind of loss, the loss of your culture, the loss of your beliefs, the loss of your freedoms, the loss of the life that you have known will never again be the same. It's gone. And sometimes that happens to individually to people when someone dies unexpectedly, when you contract some disease, you get a diagnosis of, you've got stage 4 cancer, and the life that you knew is gone forever. But imagine it being on, everybody that you know culturally, all your family, your tribe, it's never going to be the same again. And now you have to believe differently, or at least say that you profess your beliefs differently. You have to adopt completely different traditions. You have to give up, in many cases, your traditions that were handed down to you from your ancestors for thousands and thousands of years. And how do you recover? How do you continue to live and have the will to live? And it comes down to the fact that we as humans are extremely resilient, and you have to find meaning greater than yourself to overcome your pain. And what came to me in that particular ceremony that I was at was that we are alchemists, and we are alchemizing every day, and that we're powerful, and that words are, we call it spelling. You're spelling your words, but think about in magic, they cast spells, they are spelling their intentions. And that our words are casting spells every day, whether it's the words that we're saying out loud to the people around us, or the words that we say to ourselves. So we have to choose the right words. We have to be choosing words with intention towards ourselves. So the song that I'm going to share with you in just a couple of minutes, all of this information came to me in that night, and about alchemy, and that we can transmute our pain, and that we are greater than our pain. And it's a disservice to not only to ourselves, but to the world around us, for the gifts that we have to share, for us to stay stuck in a story of what has happened to us. Because when you think about those things that have happened, it was just a moment. It was just an instant in time. It was just one situation. So are we gonna let that cloud every single situation in our life? Or are we going to be greater than our pain? And choose really to see things as not having happened to us, but being for us, for our healing, for our finding a greater purpose. Because if everything was just going la-di-da, great all the time, we never had any pain, we never had any, choices that we had to make, that life could go one way or the other, if we never had any of the resistance that we come up against, we would not become greater than ourselves. We would not have any motivation to become greater than ourselves, which is the travesty of the society that is being created, that is to make our lives easier. But through that, people have not learned how to transcend and become greater than themselves, for a purpose greater than themselves. We're all little individuals just on our iPhones or on Facebook or Twitter or wherever we are, isolated from the rest of the world, and feeling alone and not feeling connection to anyone, and not having a greater purpose, not working towards a tribal community of bringing people together. That is the travesty of the technology. Now, we can use technology for the good of humanity. I hope that I'm using this technology for the betterment of at least one person. Because if this message, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if this message reaches just one person and it matters to one person, then it was worth it to me to have made this video. So, we get to choose how we use our technology to help mankind or hurt mankind, basically. So, okay, with that said, and Zoe safely on the porch where I don't have to worry about her anymore, I'm going to share the song that was gifted to me from Beyond. I will put the words in the description in case you would like to read the words, or if you think of someone that you'd like to share them with, please feel free to share this message. Alchemize your pain to compassion. Live your life with joy and passion. 'Cause you're greater than you know. Be gentle and let flow. Healing words to everyone around you. Alchemize your fear into love. You should know that you're enough. 'Cause you're greater than you know. Be gentle and let flow. Healing words to everyone around you. You don't have to be stuck in your worst day. Feel God's grace. Get out of your own way. Casting spells with every word. So choose them well and be sure you're using words like a prayer. Stay awake and be aware. Bringing light to every shadow. Use your words to spell with intention. Let them be a divine connection to the divine, a thread to the sublime, weaving magic throughout all creation. Alchemize your pain to compassion. Live your life with joy and passion. 'Cause you're greater than you know. Be gentle and let flow. Healing words to everyone around you. Alchemize fear into love. You should know that you're enough. Don't pay back hate for hate. It never is too late to transmute it into love. When you feel scared and dangerous, everyone feels like a stranger. Every inch is a mile. You can choose joy and smile. 'Cause you're in the perfect place. See God in every face, in everything and everyone around you. There's a new way to love and be. You're designing your destiny. Greater than your pain. An ember can become a flame. Remember, pain and suffering can be an opening, a perfect channel to where God is needed. Alchemize pain to compassion. Live your life with joy and passion. 'Cause you're greater than you know. Be gentle and let flow. Healing words to everyone around you. Alchemize your fear into love. You should know that you're enough. Don't pay back hate for hate. It never is too late to transmute it into love, into love, into love. You are love. Thank you, birds. Thank you, butterflies. Thank you, Pachamama, Madre Tierra. Thank you, Earth. Thank you, trees. Thank you, plants. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. It's such a gift. And I love you. And I am so fucking happy to be alive. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week.